Hey guys, welcome back to Gel Reviews. My name's John and today we are checking out the BRS-61. Brand new offering from the BRS Camping Supplies Company. You know, they're a China-based company. They make all sorts of stoves and you're probably very familiar with their really tiny compact camping stove. Well, they just came out with this. This is brand spanking new from them. And in this video, we're going to be checking this out and pitting it up against the Jetboil. Why? Because BRS are actually calling this not the Jetboil, they're calling it the BRS-61 Jetboiler. The Jetboiler. So if we're going to be calling it the Jetboiler, we're going to pick it up against the Jetboil. We will look at how it's designed. We'll compare it to my tried and trusted Jetboil Zip system. There's definitely some pros and some cons, but look, what we're talking about, there's a massive price difference between the two products. So if you're going to go for something like this, this is only going to cost you about $40 and this is going to cost you about $180. And if you're interested in this product, check out the link below. I got this from AliExpress and I think it's actually really great bang for buck. And if you use that link to buy your own, you'll be supporting this channel and I really appreciate that. So let's get into the video. So this is how the BRS-61 will arrive. It comes in a pretty plain and simple cardboard box. On the top, it's written the BRS-61 Jetboil. That's interesting, isn't it? Camping pot stove with heat exchanger. Okie dokie. This says it's 360 grams. It's 1500 watts. And basically the BTU equivalent of that is just over 5,000 BTUs, half a litre capacity, and it's also got a electronic ignition, so you don't need a lighter with this one. That's the lid, some instructions, the stove, and then the container. And that is pretty much everything that comes with the BRS-61. Instructions, English. This is at least pretty good. I can read it and understand it. That's great, mate. So just taking a closer look at the items that it comes with, this is the half-litre cooking pot. It has a handle here, very similar to the Jetboil, isn't it? It's got BRS imprinted here. Now inside, very faintly, it's written 0.5 litres. Don't know if you can see that, but it's there. It's very slight. You can see the heat exchanger system up on the bottom. You see the fins, and it's got a triangular joining system with the stove, and I'll show you how that works. The stove itself looks like this. Got the little igniter. It's a triangular design, and it's got this system here for connecting onto the base of the heat exchanger pot. Gas valve, and we have our starter right there. Comes with a little material pouch for the stove, and then we have the plastic lid that's slightly translucent. Now taking a closer look at the stove and how it connects to the base here, that's the mode of connection. That's actually pretty simple. You just turn it until you find the way it sits on, and there you go. The lid itself, it just sits on. It doesn't really have any drinking spouts or pouring spouts. It's got 3 vents there, but it just sits on. It does not actually latch on in any particular way. So this is loose. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring in the Jetboil here as a comparison. This is my tried and trusted Jetboil Zip system. Fantastic bit of kit. And we're going to compare the two. Now just be aware that there's a big price difference between the two. $40, $180 here in Australia. There's the difference between the BRS-61 and the Jetboil. Keeping in mind, this says half a litre capacity. This is promoted as a 800 ml or 0.8 litre capacity. Distinct size difference between the two. And you can see the heat exchanger systems up on the base. Definitely higher up on the Jetboil. I'll do some tests very soon to see which one boils up water or half a litre of water fastest. Two very different sort of looking stoves. Now, the difference between these two also is this has a piezo starter. And I really like the way this looks, actually. It's built in pretty nicely. The Jetboil does not have any piezo starter. It just literally has a gas valve and that's it. So you always need something like a lighter with the Jetboil Zip. Let's just take a comparison look at the flames upon the Jetboil and the BRS-61. So BRS-61 stove. Remembering this is just butane gas, and this is what the flame looks like. Pretty nice flame, works really well. Let's compare that to the Jetboil Zip. Also a nice flame. This is, mind you, about 3 years old now. I think the flame actually looked a little bit better and a bit more clean burning upon the brand new BRS-61, but there you have it. The other difference as well between the two is you'll see the two lids. The Jetboil Zip has a lid that actually secures on nicely, and it's got a pouring spout and it's got its vent holes right there. So this actually does stay on nice and secure. The BRS does not. So this kind of just sits on like that and it's always kind of loose. Difference between the two stoves as well is the way the pots mount onto it. So the BRS, you get it, and pretty much it goes on pretty easily, you know, to be honest. So I really like that. The Jetboil, it has these little locating pens, 2 of them, and up on the heat exchanger part of it, it's got one there and it's got one there. So you kind of have to spin it around. There we go. I actually find this a little bit trickier than with the BRS. On the BRS, it's pretty much you put it on and you locate it really, really quickly. Because of the triangular design, you're going to be locating the locking profile a whole lot faster than with the Jetboil. Here you kind of have to put it on and turn it around. And sometimes it doesn't even go in right. There we go. This is more like a neoprene type of material. It's got a handle that looks like this and this. Now up on the BRS, this one you can actually take totally off if you want. All right, and it looks like that. So it's got a Velcro style attachment. It's got a nice size handle there, and having tested this already, it handles the heat just fine. You know, you can't really feel the heat coming through there, just the same as upon the Jetboil. So I want to show you just the nesting options with these two boilers. The Jetboil is definitely superior to the BRS in terms of nesting. Let me just first show you how things pack up in the Jetboil. Okay, so you might have your stove here, and the beauty of it is you can actually have your gas system. There we go. And it stays like this. And you will put it inside your Jetboil. You can put your lid on like that, and that is all on nicely. Like that stays on, it's secure. I really like that. Now, the Jetboil does come with this little sort of a cup on the bottom. I'll usually have the lighter here, and I'll put this in. And I do chuck a rubber band around it just because the bottom cup here does tend to come on and off fairly easily, and I don't want to lose it. So this goes on like this, and I'll keep it something like that. Okay, that's fantastic. Now let me just show you on the BRS-61. Okay, that comes out together like this. The BRS-61, because it is so much shorter than the Jetboil Zip, you cannot leave the gas bottle attached to the stove. Let me show you. Let's just say we want to pack it up and put it in here. Okay, different story, because number one, this valve you can't just pack away like this, and it doesn't just sit in here like this. Look how much proud it sits from the top of the pot. Okay, you can't you know, you can do that, but that's always going to be sticking proud. That's not the way it was designed. Okay, so you've really got to take off the canister. And the way they say to pack this up into here, according to the instructions, is like this. I'll show you. You've got to get your little pouch. You put your stove in. And I found you've actually got to leave this like this. Double check it doesn't fold up too much down on the bottom, and put it straight inside like so. Then you get your gas canister and put this concaved section over the top. Then you get your lid, and even then it's just sitting a little bit ajar. So I don't really like that. That's a little bit of a flaw, and that's kind of sitting there. Then I get my rubber band, and that's it. I hope you can see the difference between the two. So this nests much better, but simply because this has more space inside compared to the BRS-61. BRS doesn't have a little cup on the bottom like the Jetboil does. But then again, I don't ever use this for anything apart from just keeping my lighter in there, and this you do not need a lighter. It's got its cons in that the lid doesn't sit on as nice as the Jetboil. Let me just try something here that I haven't tried yet. See if this fits on. Hey, the Jetboil lid actually sits on there perfectly. Okay, so they are the same size. Okay, I'm not saying it's super bad or anything, but just to be aware of how it all nests together compared to the way the Jetboil Zip system nests together. So let's pit these two together and just see how much they both weigh. I have only the lids on each one, and I have the stoves connected to each one. So the BRS-61, let's chuck it up on the scales. 334 grams. With the Jetboil Zip, put this up on the scales. 301 grams. So isn't that interesting? The Jetboil is still about 30 grams lighter than the BRS, even though the BRS is smaller capacity than the Jetboil. Look, you're not going to notice 30 grams, but that certainly was interesting to see. Okay, what we're going to do now is the boil test, and we're just going to do a comparison between the two. I'm using butane gas, not isobutane. Isobutane actually burns a little bit better, more cleaner, and a little bit hotter, but I've just refilled this with butane. We'll use the same gas up on the BRS-61 and the Jetboil Zip. We're going to be boiling up half a litre. There we go. Jetboil has increments on the inside as well, and that is half a litre right there. Okay, let's get it lighted up. Got to use a lighter for this. We're going to get it to a rolling boil. Let's start the counter. Start, there we go. Turn the gas right up. All right, let's see how long it takes to get a rolling boil up on the Jetboil first of all, and then we'll check it against the BRS-61. And there we go. That's a rolling boil. Let's turn this off. All right, the Jetboil does it in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. That's half a litre right in there. Let's pit that up against the BRS. And I can see my half litre increment just inside there. Remembering I've got my valve and my igniter here. We'll just turn it on. And let's hit start. Let's see how we go. All right, there we have it. That's our rolling boil. Let's turn this off. So there we go. 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Half a litre coming to a rolling boil in the BRS-61. 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the Jetboil. Look, we're talking only a few seconds really. You know, what's that? 23 seconds in total. That's the difference between the two, using the same gas, butane gas. We're outside here. There's a bit of a gentle breeze happening. Very similar to the Jetboil, just 20 odd seconds more, that's all. Now look, this is hot and this is hot. I can hold the Jetboil easily using the sleeve that's on the outside there, and it's hot boiling water. I can hold this just as easily using the sleeve as well, or the handle. Hey, one more thing that I forgot to point out is this actually has a little pointed spout. Can you notice that? So that actually makes tipping out a little bit more controllable than, say, the Jetboil. And like I said, connection to the stove here is just so much easier than the Jetboil. Just look at that. And that's on, okay? Very nice, very simple, less easy to mess up. Okay, so that's it for the video, guys. What's the takeaway from this? Well, $40 versus $180. Look, the Jetboil is definitely a better designed system. This one doesn't nest that well compared to that, but we are talking about a significantly taller camping cook pot system right there compared to the BRS-61. Look, boil times were very similar. The Jetboil did have it over the BRS, but what does this have going for it apart from just price? Well, the build quality is pretty similar. I actually prefer the stove setup than the Jetboil in terms of the locating system is much easier than, say, the Jetboil here, which does take a little bit longer to locate. I love the electronic starter system. This has a little bit of a longer valve here to adjust your gas than the Jetboil. The Jetboil has no electronic starter system, and the valve is a little bit harder to find. In fact, I've actually 3D printed myself this to make it easier to turn on and off. So that's something that I definitely prefer with the BRS compared to the Zip system. The sleeve is great. Yep, don't mind it at all. The sleeve on the Jetboil is great. Something I do like is the spout. That is really good when you're trying to get a bit more of a precise pour compared to the Jetboil. I definitely prefer the nesting option of the Jetboil, where the whole thing comes off and fits inside, but then again, you've got the extra height there. The BRS-61, you have to actually separate the stove from the gas canister. It'll go in, but it's not nice. You know, this kind of just sits on loose. I wish it sat a bit more neatly like this, and I wish they would have made it about 5 mil higher overall. But then again, look, we're talking $40 compared to $180. Okay, big price difference. But this offering from the BRS company actually is pretty darn good. I like it. So there you go, guys. I hope that gives you a bit of an idea. And don't forget, if you want to get one of these, there's some links in the description area of this video. You know, get yourself one if you think this is a product you could use upon your hiking trips. I'm going to be using this on some of my upcoming adventures, that's for sure. All right, take care. Till the next one.